Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Forget the day of the London Marathon. I think we all feel like we've just run a marathon as Manchester United secure their place in the FA Cup final by beating Brighton on penalties. Absolutely love this game. Fantastic. And so poetic that Victor Lindelof was the guy to step up and take the penalty. I mean, look, I was actually a little bit surprised that he stepped up when he did. Because realistically, it could have been Fred's, it could have been Luke Shaw, but I think that just shows just how underestimated and undervalued this player is by the mainstream. We get all these questions about Harry Maguire in the press conference. We get all these questions about British players in the press conference. This is a lad that's not put a foot wrong this season. He came into the team and played with Martinez, did brilliantly. He was absolutely superb today. And the prospect that he might be allowed to leave in the summer, I think is ridiculous. He is exactly the sort of player that you have as your third or fourth choice centre-back. He is superb. He never put a foot wrong today. Absolutely brilliant. And to step up and win that penalty, take that penalty and win the game for us. He was my man of the match anyway. Do your player ratings, links in the video description, mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. But for me, Lindelof was going to be man of the match anyway. And there were some good performances. But I'm so pleased for him because he never gets any focus. He never gets any questions asked about him. And actually, you know what? I thought the way we played defensively today was magnificent. I wouldn't ask anybody to watch that 120 minutes again. But I'm telling you now, Luke Shaw, Victor Lindelof, the way they moved, the clever positions they took up, they actually moved into the midfield as well. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with Ten Hag if he doesn't stick with them as our first choice centre-backs till Varane's back. I think they have to be. They played so well. It'd be criminal to break up that centre-back pairing. I really just wouldn't go anywhere near it. I thought they were superb. On top of that, I just want to say, wow, just, you know what? We've lost 7 of our last 8 penalty shootouts. And I think that although we didn't see a penalty saved by either goalkeeper, I thought the penalty takers for Manchester United were brilliant. I know that Sabitzer's was a little bit close, but it's the position, you know, the keeper can't save it. He's tried to save it, but he can't save it. So I thought the penalties were brilliant from everybody who took one. The one I was panicking about was Weghorst, but he sent him the wrong way. And as for the game itself, I will say this again. I think that the defence, I'd smash a like on the video and give the defence bloody man of the match because Brighton are a good side. I've seen Brighton play a lot this season and they are a really good side and they create loads of chances and they score a lot of goals under De Zerbi. So to consider the fact that we've got no Martinez, no Varane, and look, if it matters to you, Maguire was suspended as well, to go into that game with that back four and keep a clean sheet against that Brentford side is absolutely fantastic. The website's down. I can't do anything about it. I'm live, so don't worry about it. You can't do your player ratings. Just listen to the match reaction. So yeah, I think it was a fantastic performance defensively from Manchester United. And look, Brighton are a really good side, and we hung in there. We played Thursday night. We were shit on Thursday night. So I think there's a lot of positives to take from that. And you know, I agree. It was a very different Manchester United in the way that we approached it. Certainly in the first half, they had a lot more of the ball than we did, and we did look to counter-attack. Our subs weren't great. You know, you're taking people like Bruno off, you don't want to take him off. You're taking people like Anthony off, Wan-Bissaka off, Martial off. Every sub we made weakened us, apart from the Fred one, which I actually think allowed us to get hold of the midfield. Lindelof was good before we bought Harry as well. He carried the team. After Harry came, he's been destroyed by Harry's lack of taking responsibility, says Ronnie. Weghorst kissing the ball before Brighton missed their penalty nearly made me man of the match, says Oscar. Weghorst is man of the match because he put some spells on the ball, says Summit. I'm not aware of this. But look, I'm just so pleased we're in that final. I mean, there was people who were saying silly things about how, you know, it might be better if Brighton play Man City because... you know, it might be better for Man City to win, for Brighton to play Man City because they've got a better chance of beating them. If we want to stop, and look, today doesn't stop Man City winning a treble, but if we want to stop Man City winning a treble, then surely the best way of doing that is us having a say in that. Maybe they're going to win the league, maybe they're going to win the Champions League, but to win the FA Cup, they've got to beat us. And if we let them beat us, then, you know, that's on us. We've got a massive part to play in this now. Ian Carlton gifted the membership. Thank you very much for that. Also, can I just say as well, we shouldn't ignore this just because we've won. That refereeing today was bloody abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. Matoma should have been sent off. I can't understand this. I will call it out for what it is. I like Brighton. They've had a lot of bad decisions against them, and Matoma is a brilliant player. He is late on Casemiro. He is out of control. He is late. He is reckless, and he catches him with his studs. Could have been a red, got a yellow. He is late, and he catches De Gea. Should have been a yellow. So he should have been sent off. Webster, their centre-back, fouled Martial about four times, never got booked. Casido chopped Delo down, pretended to be injured, never got booked. We had Lindelof booked, Luke Shaw booked, Casemiro booked. I thought the referee was an absolute joke. And we've won the game, so it doesn't matter. But I thought it was an absolute joke. And it does need calling out. But we're in another cup final. Erik ten Hag. Can I just take a moment to say, Erik ten Hag, what a job he is doing at Manchester United. It ain't always pretty. There's a lot of work to be done. You cannot solve the problems of that squad in one summer. Yeah, he bought 5 players in. He's not been allowed to sell anybody properly yet. And yet he's still taken this Manchester United side to a Carabao Cup final, now an FA Cup final. And yeah, it was disappointing in the Europa League quarter-final, but we're joint third in the league. I just think it's fantastic what we've achieved. I think into the penalties, we limped into the penalties. We looked tired. Jadon Sancho scored a penalty as well. You know, everybody stepped up and showed mentality, and I think that was where I was worried. I said it before the penalty shootout. I don't fancy us. De Gea's not particularly good in penalty shootouts, and this team has had a problem with mentality this year, and they stepped up to the plate, every single one of them. So that's what they've got to do on a consistent now. And you know what? It's absolutely brilliant. Alan Kenny says they are on Rashford and Sancho penalty, not the winner. Jesus Christ, says Alan Kenny. Over the moon, says Ray Carl. D, welcome to the Members Club. And last penalties won were against Sanchez already in 2019 Rochdale. Yeah, somebody said that before, actually, that the last penalty shootout we won, Sanchez was in goal on loan for Rochdale at the time. But look, penalty shootouts are a lottery, and we don't have a great record against in them. So I'm somewhat in shock, but absolutely over the moon that we've won on penalties. It's great. Can we talk about how bad the ref was again? How Matoma didn't end up on a yellow at minimum is madness. Well, he did get a yellow for the... I think he got a yellow for the Casemiro one, but I don't think he got it... Well, he didn't get it for the other one. Great win for an early birthday gift, says Jared. Happy birthday to you, mate. But look, let's talk about I want to do the player ratings where we individualise it, but Lindelof followed, man of the match, followed by Wan-Bissaka, says international. I think that, look, the one thing that you've got to hit the nail on the head is that Erik ten Hag played counter-attacking football. Some people had a problem with this. I didn't. A 0-0 game over 120 minutes. Some people had a problem with it being boring. I didn't. I think what we saw is two... I don't actually think some people understand how good Brighton are. Like, they are really good. Like, really, really good. And to keep them to 0 and play a 0-0 out and actually say that both teams cancelled each other out does show us the levels that we can play at. And we know we can do that. After that game, I think it's only fair for Patrice Evra should be named the ref for the final, says Lars. Did you see Weghorst kissing the ball? I didn't. I'll have to look at it in a bit, you know. But you know what? I feel that I think Ten Hag got it right today. I mean, I don't think it was particularly easy to watch, but I do think he got it right, because if we'd gone toe-to-toe with Brighton and tried to pass our way through it, I think it would have been a nightmare. I think we had to try and bypass their press. I think we had to go long, and we did. And we conceded possession, but ultimately, we had as many chances as they did. I don't think either team had a clear-cut chance. I mean, let's not forget the David De Gea save. That's probably the save of the whole game. But I don't think we rode our luck. I don't think we were unworthy winners. I mean, on penalties, it can go either way. But, you know, sometimes you can grind your way to penalties against a better team. The underdog can, you know, defend their way to penalties. We didn't do that. I think Brighton were the better footballing side, but I think we understood that would be the case, because right here, right now, Brighton are a better footballing team than most sides in the league. And, you know, they were very good. But as I said, I'll concede that Brighton were a better footballing side, but I will not concede that we weren't better defensively than them. Playing defensively or counter-attacking in a cup tie is totally understandable, says Min. I think ultimately it doesn't really matter how you get the job done, does it? And people will say play like that against Man City and we'll struggle. Well, we will be the underdog against Man City, of course we will, but hopefully by then we'll be in a better vein of form. I think we're struggling at the moment. I do. I think our passing's not as good as it could be. I think our rhythm's not as good as it could be. I think in the final third we were pretty poor on decision making from numerous players. But what you can't doubt is the effort that everybody put in, which is why we're in this position. You know, you don't take a team like Brighton to a clean sheet across 120 minutes if you're not going to put the work in as a team and be well organised. Then yet again, I think we've shown that this season, and people might not like it, but yet again, I think we've shown that this season our team is built on a strong defence, and that result was built on a strong defence. And when you look at the players who are in that defence, no Martinez, no Varane, I think people like Lindelof and Luke Shaw deserve huge credit. Rashford, Eriksen, Martial not quite looking match sharp. Casemiro not quite right either, but team showed heart and determination, and that's all that matters, says Smoggy. I agree. Barring injury, Maguire should not start again for the rest of the season. Lindelof and Shaw for the rest of the season complemented each other really well, says Paul. Well, I agree with that. I don't know whether that will be the case. Treble Wreckers, it's written in the stars, June the 3rd, let's go, says Josh. And Paul Woolley's just gifted 5 United Stand memberships. Thank you very much, Paul. Make sure you smash a like on the video right now. We're going back to Wembley. It's Manchester United. And in fact, you might call it a little bit premature, but before we do the player ratings, if you fancy, well, if you want to get one of these, you can get it from United Stand Shopify. But fresh out today, there we go. Take a look at that for a nice print t-shirt with a famous Manchester United. And we're going to Wembley. There you go. Wembley Stadium, Saturday, the 3rd of June, 2023. Get yours now. United Stand Shopify. Type it into Google. Lovely stuff. Love it. Love it. Love it. In fact, let me just do this before the player ratings. Why didn't I think of it earlier? How do you like those apples? There we go. There we go. We're going to Wembley. Player ratings, let's go. Linda, Shaw for the rest of the season, says Kunnell. Right, David De Gea for me, 7, 6.9 from you. Yeah, look, I thought the save was fantastic. I thought his overall game was good. Look, the distribution Twitter crew will tear him apart because there was loads and loads of long balls. But if you don't know why we were hitting long balls, then, you know, you don't really watch football that much. We didn't try. Ten Hag told him to hit long balls, basically. That was the plan. Every time the ball went back to De Gea today, the defence turned their back on him and moved out because they knew he was going to kick it long. That was the plan. We were not going to play out from the back today very often, and that was the plan. So I agree. I think he made a fantastic save. That's what his job is there to do. On the penalties, I don't rate De Gea on penalties. It's one area I just don't rate him on. Funnily enough, I think he would have saved the Marsh one. I think he'd gone the right way. And I thought it was a bad penalty, but he didn't put it on target and he missed it anyway. Wan-Bissaka for me is an 8. I thought he was brilliant. I really do. I thought Wan-Bissaka deserves an 8. 7.3 from you. That is why I love football. We said it before the game. Matoma against Wan-Bissaka was going to be the battle. Matoma is their best player and Wan-Bissaka is our right back. And I thought Matoma did okay, but I think Wan-Bissaka won the battle and I don't think that's easy to do. I'm surprised we're looking at Frimpong. I keep saying this. I think Delot is massively important to this team. You know, he played at left back, he moved to right back. You've got a really good right back, full back who can do a really good job in a squad in Delot. And then you've got Wan-Bissaka who's just, you know, being put in the man of the match category every game. So I don't know why we're doing this, but Ten Hag's the boss. Let's see what happens. One thing I will say is if we're putting Wan-Bissaka up for sale, there won't be a shortage of people moving forward, will there? Trying to buy him. Lindelof for me is man of the match. You know, nerves of steel, the Iceman on the penalty, but I'd have given him man of the match before that. I think he's an 8.5. I just think, I mean, look, I agree with people giving him an 8. I'd give him an 8.5 because I think as a defender, I don't think you can have a better performance. He brought the ball out from the back. His passing was good. His interceptions were good. His positional sense was good. Brighton are a team that are constantly moving around. They're a bit like Man City. They don't have a static number 9. They're moving around. They've got runners all over the place. We hardly ever lost those runners, and when we did, Lindelof was there to wipe it up. Also was Luke Shaw. I think it was fantastic today. Fantastic. And then to score the winning penalty just gives him the focus that he deserves. Luke Shaw, for me, was a 7.5. Again, look, Luke Shaw's a left-back. He's been injured recently, and he just steps into left centre-back like he's been doing it all his life. I mean, I said this back in January when it was Varane and Luke Shaw. He's one of the best left-sided centre-backs in the league when he plays there, and he's a left-back, and he's done it again. So I think Luke Shaw deserves an amazing amount of credit. Do you think we deserve to win? I'll be on my way, says Lil. Can you call Wayne a prat? Says Tanya. Is Lineker the new Peter Jury? Solly March sent that into April, and Lindelof with the winner to the victor. Go the spoils, says Ram. Good win, let's celebrate, says Mojo. And Leo says we should either keep Wan-Bissaka and Dalot or sell Dalot. We need to prioritise a young striker like Haaland, or if the club sells in time, we should invest in Osman. Our midfield is decent, says Leo. And I gave Lindelof a 10. He was superb and he wonders the game, says Man United Hodge. I don't disagree with you, mate. I think it's very difficult to move away from Lindelof's flawless performance. 7 for me from Dalot. I thought he had a good game. I do. Again, playing at left back, moving across to right back. Energy, good penalty as well, stepped up, mentality, very happy with Dalot. I'm a big fan of his. Casemiro today, it was a bit up and down, wasn't it? I mean, look, you need players like Casemiro in a game like that over 120 minutes. I think the referee got in his head with that yellow card. But, you know, I still don't think Casemiro's at the heights he was before the international break, but I'd still give him a strong 7. I don't think it was as low as a 6.2, to be honest. I thought he had a good game against a good Brighton midfield. That's probably the hardest game he's probably had in a long time. That's a really good Brighton midfield. I thought Casemiro did well, but obviously I think he can do better still. Eriksen was disappointing. Probably give him a 6, 5.5 from you. I want to be a bit generous, but yeah, I think it was the right sub at the right time to bring Fred on. I just think with Eriksen, and we've said it before, when we play decent teams, like your Brightons, your Man Cities, or you're at Anfield, or you're at the Emirates, you can't just have Eriksen next to Casemiro because he's not defensively savvy enough. I think that when you're playing the better teams, Casemiro needs a Fred or somebody next to him who can do the defensive work with him, because otherwise he gets overwhelmed. And I think Ten Hag made the sub at the right time, and I think this is a problem that we're going to have to look at next year. Eriksen and Casemiro as a midfield 2 isn't going to wash when you're playing decent sides who've got a really good midfield 3. And it didn't. And look, that's something to watch out for the final. I think if we go Eriksen and Casemiro against De Bruyne, Rodri and Gundogan, we'll get swamped again. Bruno battled. I give him a 7. He battled. I think lesser players come off in the first 20 minutes with the injury. I think he's played probably an hour and a half injured, and then he's just had to come off because he would want to take a penalty. There's no doubt about that. But massively appreciative of Bruno. And look, my big concern with him is how long is he going to be out for? Anthony, 6.5. I think that's a fair score for Anthony. Again, a big player for us, and I think it's really. I was really surprised he got took off, and the only thing I can think of with him is that maybe it was more about fitness than it was anything else, because I don't really get why you would take Anthony off. It didn't make a massive amount of sense to me. It didn't matter at the end. It didn't matter in the end, but I was very happy with that with Anthony. And as I say, I was a little bit surprised that he got took off. But look, there's no doubt that he's getting better and better, and I think he's an out. Look, the only thing I would say negatively about Anthony is that he got himself into decent positions, and then a few of his shots were just a little bit weak. But I'm happy with him, and yeah. Sorry, I've just got to do this. just trying to see if we can get something to work for you. It might work, it might not. Wow, legend in the chat. Mojo has gifted 20 memberships. You're a legend, Mojo. Thank you very much. Ten Hag, half-time adjustments, also brilliant. Bringing the wingers in defensively to strangle that middle of the pitch caused multiple turnovers. Thank you very much for that. That's from Travis. What else we got? We've got Rashford. Overall, I'd probably give Rashford a 6 on his performance. I just don't think, and I'm a big fan of Rashford, and I'm going to qualify this straight away. I don't think Rashford was anywhere near fit, or he was ill or something, because he wasn't tracking back. He didn't look on it when he got the ball. It felt to me like Rashford was just kept on the pitch for a moment of magic. And I'm okay with that. It's worked in the past. But I felt at times it was like having 10 men. He just wasn't, I don't know. The logical thing is that he wasn't fit. But look, he came and took his penalty, and that's what it's all about. But I think by Rashford standards, I'd probably give him a 6, an average 6 today. Martial, probably the same. I mean, look, Martial seems to be a weird one in the fan base, but I like Martial. I like what he brings to the team, and we're definitely better with Martial in the team than we are with Rashford up front or Weghorst. So I'm happy that he was fit today. But again, I think he looked like another player that wasn't really fully, fit, I suppose. Fred, I thought, came on and did a good job. I'm going to give Fred a 7. I know some of his passing was a bit off, but I actually think that Fred came on and gave us more control of the midfield, which is obviously very important. And I think from the moment Fred came on, we suddenly started to get a foothold in the game. So I'm really happy with that. What's this? Okay. What else have we got? I'm working my way through here. Make sure you smash a like on the video. We're going back to Wembley to play City. I'm just so happy it's us. Sancho, 6.5. Don't really care. 6.5. He scored the penalty. That's all I'm going to say about Jadon Sancho. I think that wherever his journey is going to go, and I don't know where it's going to go. You know I'm a fan of Sancho. But I think the penalty, if he misses that and we go out, it can have a big impact on your future. And I just wanted him to score the penalty and United to go through. And he did that. And I just think it keeps the story alive that Sancho can become the player we want him to be. Because I think his future's in the balance. We know that. And I think if he'd missed that penalty and we'd gone out, you just worry about where it goes from there. So, look, did he make a massive impact when he came off the bench? No. Has he made a massive impact in recent weeks? No. But he came on, he did okay, and he got a penalty. And that's all you can ask, really. And I'd say the same about Sabitzer. I mean, I think Sabitzer was pretty average when he came on. I don't think he made a massive impact when he came on in extra time. But he scored a penalty, and he didn't end up with the story of he was the one that missed. And we didn't want anybody to have that today, did we? We wanted us to be victorious, which we were. Malacia, again, probably just an average 6 when he came on. I was a little bit surprised about Wan-Bissaka being taken off, but maybe it was just pure fatigue. Remember, Wan-Bissaka played on Thursday night as well. I think a lot of people are forgetting about that. We did play Thursday night, and some of these players have played a lot of minutes. Weghorst, probably a 6, but probably even a lower than a 6, but he scored a penalty, so for me, that's all that matters. Erik ten Hag, today, 7 for me. I think first half... Look, I suppose it depends what you want. If you're judging Ten Hag on playing scintillating, possession-based attacking football, you're never going to be happy. But if you went into it like I did, expecting us to counter and expecting us to have to deal with challenges and adapt, then I think it was a 7 from Ten Hag, because, as people say, we got hold of the game in the second half when Fred came on. He did make tweaks. The subs were disappointing, but I think he had to make them. I wouldn't have took Martial off. I would have kept him on. I wouldn't have took Anthony off. I'd have kept him off. I wouldn't have took Wan-Bissaka off. I would have kept him on. I wouldn't have took Bruno off. I'd have kept him on. But I think there was reasons behind every single one of those. And then you look at the bench, it's not good enough. This is why he needs backing in the summer, because when you're taking Bruno off, you need to be bringing better than Weghorst on. You know, you need to be bringing better players off the bench. So I think Ten Hag did a good job. I just think expectations are high, which is great, but we were never going to play against Brighton today on the front foot. I don't think that, you know, with lots of possession. I'll be stunned if this is not an absolute landslide. 81% of you voted for Victor Lindelof as your man of the match, and I'm absolutely over the moon with that. Make sure you smash a like on the video for Victor. He is your man of the match, and he thoroughly deserves it. And the thing I love about this community is that it's never what's the word? It's never based on, you know, reputation, really. It's based on you know, who deserves it most. And I think Victor Lindelof was fantastic today. And the one legacy thing I would take away, the website and player ratings is back online. If you want to do your player ratings, then you can do. It's back online. The one thing I would say about the game today that's really important for me when we move away is that I'm not the manager and you're not the manager. But I wanted us to win today, and we did win today. But what I really wanted to happen is I wanted us to change the way we're going to play over the next few weeks. We know we haven't got Varane, and we know we haven't got Martinez. And when we play Maguire and Lindelof, it's just panic stations. The team looks bad. Today, we didn't have Varane and we didn't have Martinez, but we played a really good team and we looked good defensively. We looked mobile. We looked organised. And I just want to see, against Spurs and Aston Villa, I want to see Lindelof and Shaw. I want to see Lindelof and Shaw. And that, to me, is going to be the big thing. Because if he brings Maguire back in, that's on the manager. And I trust him to do that if that's what he wants to do. But I want to see Lindelof and Shaw. I think that is the way to go. I think we're a better team like that. And you've got Malacia and Delo who can play at left back. You've got Wan-Bissaka at right back. And I think that's just the way we've got to go. I think we've got a better chance against the likes of Harry Kane and Watkins with Lindelof and Shaw than we have with Lindelof and Maguire. So I hope he's going to do that. But, you know, fantastic result. Fantastic. I've dropped it in the video description if you want to get one of these, by the way. They are hot off the press. It's got the date of the cup final with the famous Man United, and we're going to Wembley. They have just gone live on the United Stand Shopify page, and the link is in the description if you want to get one for yourself. We're going back. We can be the one. Well, I hope we're not the ones to stop Man City win the treble, because by then, hopefully, Real Madrid have knocked him out of the Champions League, and hopefully Arsenal will beat him on Wednesday. But if it comes down to it, at least we can have a say. That's what it's all about. Right, let's get over to the fan forum. Let's see what they've got to say there. Hopefully there won't be an outcry and witch hunt on David De Gea today, because I thought he was brilliant. Get your T-shirts through the link in the description. United Stand Shopify. Let's get over to the fan forum. And don't forget to smash a like on here as well on your way out.